Okay, got that. You ready?
Yep.
We're live. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 65th episode of Security in 30. Actually, 68th. I'm sorry. And we were raring to go actually last week. I tried to get Tom in like a huge rush to say we got to talk about Superfish. We got to talk about Superfish. We need to do it now. And then our lives got in the way, and here we are, slightly early, not our usual Wednesday night for the following Tuesday, but still there. So lots to talk about with Superfish.
Oh, yes.
You want to start? You want to start with what is Superfish?
Well, legend has it. The Superfish roams the northern Pacific Ocean, searching out boats, fishermen, Carnival cruise lines, and maliciously tipping them over. Beware the Superfish.
Sounds like Man Bear Pig.
It's very similar to Man Bear Pig. Superfish is a piece of software and a company that specialize in visual search. What that means is they hijack your search engine results page and inject their own advertisements into it, and people pay them for this. And they pay other companies to be pre-installed on software or bundled in with other software you might install. It's general malware. No one likes these guys. No one appreciates kind of the software that they're throwing out there. In several antiviruses, it's actually flagged as a legitimate piece of malware and uninstalled. But this goes beyond the usual malware tirade. It goes beyond it's a virus and it installs stuff and yeah, it's bad and you should avoid it. Yeah, all those things are true. But what if you're buying a brand new computer? You expect it to be free of malware, right? You expect it to just have a copy of Windows, maybe some stuff on the desktop, like a link to eBay or Amazon, a couple advert links here or there that you can drag to the recycle bin. Maybe even a trial version of Office or some photo software you don't care about. What you're not expecting when you buy a new computer is a full-on malware infection that hijacks your secure connections and watches what you do online.
Well, you're saying it wrong, Tom. This is a feature.
Oh yes, I'm sorry.
No, this is not a bug. This is a feature. You're getting tailored ads, which may come in it may be useful, right?
Well, when this malware looks at your bank statement online after it's hijacked your traffic and sends off your browsing information, including your bank account statements, to a random third party, that random third party can now give you loan advice or credit monitoring services, which you'll probably need.
Both of which I probably need, right? I need to be told which is the best loan, and now they know my credit score, so that $860 a month or my car insurance for $10 is $10 a year, they may actually be accurate. This is great. I'm all for this. This is phenomenal. I don't have to think anymore. I just click because it knows me so well.
I can't believe we haven't installed this before. We should talk about this great software all the time.
Well, I mean, this is not the first time. Well, we'll get into that in a minute. But I'm going back to Wild Tangent being one of them back in the AOL days when you were trying to download. And then there was all these coupon sites. I remember when couponing was a big deal, and all these companies, you had to download their couponing software, which also did the same thing.
Yeah. Everyone had a coupon app. It's, you get a lot of this stuff. I remember Wild Tangent. HP was best friends with those guys. Came pre-installed on all their machines. And, of course, they would bug you to, oh, hey, buy this thing or install this thing. It was horrible. Most people that buy a computer don't reinstall Windows. They buy a computer, they treat it like an appliance, and they say, okay, this is a computer. They don't know differences between hardware and software. They don't know that the version of Windows they're getting has been filled with a bunch of crapware and stuff they probably don't need, but they use it anyway because most people don't know any better. And, the vast majority of the time, that software is just an annoyance. It's not actually malicious, and it's not actually a huge huge security hole.
Well, most people, I mean, me myself included. When I get a new computer, they have that hidden partition on most HPs, probably most computers now. To send you the
Yep.
disk costs too much, so what they do is they put a hidden partition and they tell you, hey, we're not sending you the disk, but if you hit F11 on startup, you'll get it out of the box. And you know what? For 99% of people, that's good enough because you know what? The drivers are pre-installed. And all you got to do is remove, like you said, the eBay shortcut, and
Yeah.
Norton has actually been fairly good about letting you uninstall stuff. But if you know that that's what you have to do, then you know what? It's not the end of the world.
Right. The problem is most people don't. And on top of that, this software, Superfish, installs what's called a root certificate on your computer. And trying to figure out a really nice, simple way to explain this. Any browser traffic you do, anything through IE, through Chrome, maybe Firefox, but Firefox has its own certificate store, so it need to target that specifically, is routed through Superfish so they can read everything. So they can take all of your traffic, your secure and non-secure traffic, and inject ads into it. And use it for personalized advertisements where, you know, they look at the content of the pages and then they try to sell you ads on, or sell you stuff on top of that. Really nasty adware. I mean, this is malware by definition.
Well,
No, it's not trying to blow up your computer, but yeah, it's trying to get information on you, and it's trying to pop up a bunch of ads.
well, before we go saying how awful it is, because like you said, it is really bad. It's bad enough that it was pre-installed and it was doing this.
Yeah.
Basically, it was a toolbar without the toolbar, just running in the background, slowing down everything. I mean, that's what it on the surface. That's what it sounds like. But
yeah, it doesn't sound horrible. I mean, it sounds like, oh, look, it's a nasty piece of adware. But it's worse than that.
So if that was it, okay, fine. I mean, fine, whatever. It's bad, and you know what? Shame on me for not noticing that, because where it is, it's in the, and we'll talk about this later on how to remove it, but it was in the ad remove programs, which is always a recommendation when you get a computer. If you're not going to reinstall Windows, go through there and see what you don't need, and Google the stuff you don't know. And Superfish if they filled everything right. It didn't have a weird name. It wasn't like A2, 3, 4, whatever. Mm-hmm. It was Superfish Incorporated from Superfish. If you've never heard of it, a quick Google search or a quick search would have told you what it is, and you probably would have removed it. But that just touches the tip of the iceberg.
Right, because installing the software doesn't remove the root certificate. And why that's the important part of all this, like, if it were just some normal ad software that injects stuff, okay, yeah, it's annoying, yeah, it probably shouldn't be pre-installed, yes, Lenovo is raking you over the coals by putting this on your computer and expecting you to live with it. It's bad business, it's being bad to your customers, it's being shady, it's a lot of things, but it's not horribly malicious. No, the root certificate thing means anyone can impersonate this certificate, because it actually was the same certificate was loaded onto every new Lenovo they sold. So every computer has the same Superfish root certificate. Worse than that, protected with a poor password, which means someone cracked it. They said, hey, this is the key, this is the password for the key. Anyone, any bad guy ever can target your computer with a phishing attack if you have Superfish installed, and it'll show up as completely normal unless you check the certificate manually, which no one does. Only the techiest of the techies check certificates. I hardly check certificates. I check it when I'm really concerned about privacy, but even then, it's kind of once in a blue moon, or if I suspect something's going on. So this means...
I was going to say, what you're saying is, so when you go to a website, eBay, wherever, Gmail, Amazon, you click the green lock in the corner and you check to see that it says Amazon.com. I mean,
right.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. And with Superfish, what it means is someone, a bad guy, could be sending you to Amazon.com saying, hey, we need to verify your credit card. Put it in this box. And what your browser's supposed to do, it's supposed to turn everything red and yell at you and say, whoa, hold on a minute there, Charlie. This site isn't using a right certificate. This certificate over here is bad. It doesn't belong to this website at all. You should probably get out of here unless you absolutely know what you're doing. And most people look at that and they say, oh, I probably shouldn't put any credit card details in there. That certificate's not correct. Let's get out of here. No, with Superfish, someone could be using that certificate in a fish, trying to get your information, trying to get you to put in bank details or credit card details, and your browser won't ever alert you because Superfish has the root certificate. It's installed in your machine. Your machine is set to trust Superfish. Anyone can use this, and it shows up as completely legitimate unless you are absolutely looking for it. It is a horrible vulnerability.
Now, let me ask you this, just to clarify. So when you go to a random website, Tom's secure website, you're issuing a certificate. You're saying that this is who I say I am. You call up a company, DigiCert, GoDaddy, VeriSign, and they're the certificate authority saying, we vetted Tom's secure website. This is who he says he is. This is right.
Right. Now,
that's not what Superfish is. They're the actual company, and they can issue certificates, which is way worse.
Yeah, so you can, and a lot of businesses do this, you can create your own certificates. Certificates aren't this weird, nebulous thing that only crazy tech companies get into. No, if you're running a business and you want to have a secure internal website, that's not external, it's not going to be shown to anyone else. You don't want to go out and buy a certificate just for people inside. So no, if you are issuing computers, you create your own certificate, and you tell those computers inside your business, hey, you can go ahead and trust this one. And then people's browsers won't freak out when they get to, my company's internal website.internal or whatever page you're going to. It'll show up as completely legitimate. So it does have a legitimate use case, but with Superfish, this is not a company. This is not, these aren't company computers. These are consumer computers. They're not going to be used inside of Superfish Incorporated. No, Superfish is using this so they can get in the middle of your traffic, execute a man-in-the-middle attack, and then inject stuff like your Google search results. There will now be weird ads floating in places that they aren't usually there. There will be advertisements on any website you go to from Superfish. And your browser doesn't know that it's wrong. It completely trusts the certificate because it's designed to.
Well, I mean, my friend had a question, and it was regarding, okay, so, well, it's a man in the middle. So I go to my bank website, and it says username and password. So Superfish is, what it's doing is, it sounds like it's presenting you. It goes to the bank, it gets to the website, it then says, okay, now enter your stuff here. So it gets your username and password. But this is sent in plain text, or is this encrypted?
No, this would still be encrypted. Okay. What Superfish is doing is it's taking this data and it's siphoning it off through a proxy.
Okay.
A lot of companies do this. Again, a lot of companies say, we don't really want to take the chance of viruses getting through even on an encrypted web page. So what we're going to do is we're going to inspect all the traffic. We're going to virus scan all the traffic that goes through our proxy, that goes through our network. And everyone trusts our certificate that's on the proxy, so we don't really have to worry about that. No one's browser is going to freak out. But instead of their browser doing the secure handshake with the website, our proxy is going to do that. It's literally a box in the middle of your computer and the website you're getting to. It's a man-in-the-middle attack.
And so you're sending it your username and password, and it grabs it, and it does whatever it needs to do.
Right. So going out to the internet, yes, that information is still encrypted. But if someone were trying to phish you, if you weren't paying close attention and inspecting the certificate on each and every web page you go to, you could be getting phished and not even realize it. And because the certificate is issued with a really poor password, anyone could do that. It's fairly trivial to do a man-in-the-middle attack with that. It's not as bad as, Shell Shock or Heartbleed or one of these other things, but this is different because it's consumer-facing, because we don't expect these things to get fixed very rapidly. I mean, Lenovo doesn't really... They can put out instructions on how to remove this stuff, but they're not really for issuing patches that get applied automatically.
It's worse than Shell Shock and Heartbleed in the sense that an average person can't fix Shell Shock or Heartbleed. They can't do anything about it. Here is something that, like you said, a consumer, it's forward facing, it's on everyone's machine, and it's siphoning off. It guarantees to siphon off your information, where the other ones are server side, and you do have to go through some effort. I mean, not a lot, but more effort than just having it installed on your computer.
Right. You're right. It's not Shell Shock's not a vulnerability that'll just pop up one day and destroy your computer. Now, this is something that could pop up one day if you're on, the wrong Wi-Fi network, the wrong open Wi-Fi network with the wrong type of people that are trying to get your information, or sitting at the wrong airport or in the wrong hotel room using that Wi-Fi. You could get easily phished with this if you have a new Lenovo computer. Which brings me to our heroes. And we usually don't say that. We don't give these guys enough credit, I feel. But the hero of the day is Microsoft themselves. Microsoft has updated Windows Defender, and it will be destroying, it will be going out and phishing the Superfish.
And that's in Windows Defender now. I always butcher the name. Microsoft Spyware Removal Tool, MSRT.
So there's the malicious software removal tool, which gets applied, I want to say every month.
Every month now.
There's Windows Defender, which should be included on most versions of Windows today. It is included on basically every new computer, because every new computer is running Windows 8. It's included by default.
It's not on 8?
No, it is. It is.
Okay. It's not on XP. You have to actually download it on XP, but I think every subsequent version from now on has it. And
but
it's pretty good.
You don't really have to worry about it on XP because no one is selling XP today. Lenovo is not selling XP. No, anything Lenovo is selling to consumers with Superfish is most likely going to be Windows 8 based, which is going to have Windows Defender installed automatically. Which means one of these days, if you've got Superfish, Microsoft's fantastic Windows Defender tool will come in and clean it up for you. It'll just go away. People won't even know it exists. Now, the fact that Microsoft had to get involved and clean up a mess by one of their manufacturers is huge. This means everyone's going to be on their toes, and we're going to take the industry is going to take a good hard look at what is pre-installed in your computer when you buy it, and what Microsoft is going to get really angry about. Because I can tell you, this cost them time, it cost them money, probably, not billions of dollars, not even millions of dollars, but some team of people had to sit down and say, oh, okay, Lenovo really messed up this time. We've got to clean up after this so people don't get attacked, and so they don't, go out and buy Apple products or whatever, so they don't lose confidence in Windows. Okay.
Well, yeah,
Team, we're going to sit down and make a patch. They actually spent manpower trying to fix this thing.
Well, then let's hold on, because Microsoft has a vested interest in here. Well, just like you said, it's the Lenovo people are going to say, hey, wait a second, why is this happening? And they're not going to be able to find it out.
Right.
Because just removing Superfish does not remove the certificate, the certificate store. And the problem with that is that's going to come back to Microsoft saying, this is Microsoft's fault, which it's not, but so they better get on their case, and you're right, they did do it, and kudos to them.
Yeah, and Lenovo did issue a public response, and like most people, I share the opinion that most people in the security community do, which is, really? That's your response? It was a non-response. It was your typical corporate backtalk, double speak sort of stuff.
It was just we thought that this was a good idea.
Yeah, we're trying to, make your computer more reliable and innovative and better for you by installing the spyware. And we're sorry we did it. And we're gonna, work with Superfish to talk about security stuff. It really seems like they don't understand that by installing a root certificate on all the PCs you're selling, uh, weakly guarded by a password, the same root certificate, they don't understand it opens people up to these massive phishing attacks. And it's really nasty. It is not good.
It's and what makes it even worse, and this may be a really minute detail, is on which computers it installed it on and which ones it didn't.
Right.
So their response is none of the ThinkPads were infected, and you said right before the show that that may not be true, but
Right.
remember where did ThinkPad came from? The IBM line, and the IBM ThinkPads were the response to the amazingly constructed Macs. You wanted a PC that was tough and had all the power. You went with the ThinkPad.
Yeah.
So when IBM got out of the PC business and went directly to enterprise, they sold their line to Lenovo. So Lenovo got this huge bump in enterprise saying that we are the business computer. So
And then they turn and do something like this to their consumer line. It really removes a lot of faith from the brand.
And you say, oh, well, it's not on the ThinkPads that makes it better. No, that means that somebody in corporate knew exactly what they were doing.
Right.
It wasn't that they were like, oh, let's put it. If they put it on all of them, it would almost be better to say, oh, we thought when they say we think that everyone would like this, they really meant they thought everyone would like this.
Right. This screams one of two things, and they're mutually exclusive possibilities. Either the people at Lenovo seriously didn't understand that they were introducing a massive security vulnerability into these computers, and they're completely incompetent in that case, or they did understand but they didn't really care, in which case they're malicious. And the truth of the matter probably lies somewhere in between. I'm not going to blame an entire company or everyone that works for that company. I'm just saying the person that made this call either was working outside of what the consumer would want, was working against the consumer, or they were completely unknowledgeable about what they were doing.
Tom, can I read it's 3 paragraphs. I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
At Lenovo, we make every effort to provide a great user experience for our customers. We know that millions of people rely on our devices every day, and it is our responsibility to deliver quality, reliability, innovation, and security to each and every customer. In our effort to enhance our user experience, we pre-installed a piece of third-party software, Superfish, based in Palo Alto, California, on some of our consumer notebooks. The goal was to improve the shopping experience using their visual discovery techniques. In reality, we had customer complaints about the software. We acted swiftly and decisively once these concerns began to be raised. We apologize for causing any concern to any users for any reason, and we are always trying to learn from experience and improve what we do and how we do it. We stopped preloading beginning in January. We shut stuff down, and it just continues. But basically, They thought it was a good idea. I mean, that's exactly what it is. Nobody there said, nobody said, hey, wait a second. Why are we preloading something that delivers ads? And how is this good? Because presumably, I mean, all these people are computer users as well, and I don't know too many, I don't even know ad people who like advertisements.
This is true. Now, not to condemn an entire company, but there might have been, one or more people that said, hey, this is wrong and you shouldn't do this, and they were quickly shot down by upper management. I mean, that happens a lot in these corporate situations. It's just, it's a black mark on the brand, so much so that, I was actually looking at buying a new laptop. I've needed a new laptop for a couple years now. And I was really leaning towards one of the new ThinkPads. I can't do that now. I'm going to vote with my dollars and vote with my feet, and I'm going to get myself a nice Latitude from Dell.
Well, the other interesting part, and again, I said, remember, Lenovo bought Dell. There's also, or not Dell, IBM. There's also a huge kerfuffle back then that Lenovo is a Chinese company, and
Right.
I don't, and we were, I don't know if we were talking about it, but there's always talk about, are the Chinese spying on us? Are they putting stuff in that we can do it, and we should be buying Dells and HP because we know, and the parts should be made in America and everything else. And here you
Yeah.
are, Lenovo, doing this, putting a man-in-the-middle attack. We don't know what the national, if there are any FISA court letters or national security letters on this. We don't know, but there is another thing, and this is not to be all tinfoil hatty, but it wasn't good that Lenovo got caught.
Right.
So
I usually try to avoid those arguments because they're usually pretty, God, guns, and patriotism.
it's thin.
And
It's thin. It's not.
yeah, I'm not really all about that, but some people are. So much so that certain branches of government actually pay huge amounts of money, massive amounts of money, to make sure that everything from the sand that goes into the silicon to the thermal paste that goes on your processor is made in the U.S. And they pay huge amounts of money to get the bill of materials that says, okay, yeah, the silicon was actually made in Tucson, and the sand came from the beaches of San Diego. We've got a guy out there with a shovel, and he's just compacting them all into microchips.
Well, I mean, yeah. Again, this is all tinfoil hatty, but like I said, it's one of those. It's one of those. Let's pile on more and more and more, and let's add the paranoia and everything else.
Yeah.
And it was just,
If
it's bad.
for the users out there, if you've got a Lenovo, keep Windows Defender updated. We're going to get you some stuff in the show notes to get Superfish off your system. If you're not sure, or if you just want to see that something hasn't disabled SSL for your computer, we're going to give you a link to check that. And if you haven't bought a computer, if you're looking at buying a computer, if you want a Lenovo, don't get one anytime soon. I'd wait 3 to 6 months before you go buy a Lenovo. And if you want to vote with your feet and dollars, go anywhere else. I've had experience with Asus. Asus makes really nice consumer-end laptops. You get what you pay for. So if you buy a $100 computer, you're gonna get a $100 computer. Just keep that in mind.
And remember, Dell went private. They rebought all their shares out, all their stockholders out. So whatever. So they may be a new company. My latest experience with the Dell is a Chromebook that the school got me, and it is rock solid. I highly recommend that Dell Chromebook 11. Got 4 gigs in it, and you'll be happy. But in the last 2 minutes, I really wanted to talk about what's the fine on this. I mean, there has to be something.
Oh.
There has to be. The 3-letter organizations must be chomping at the bit to levy some enormous fine.
I really wish, and I haven't heard anything. I can only imagine that lawyers saw this and they just started wringing their hands like, yeah, here we go. Payday's coming, boys. Because this is a class action lawsuit just waiting to happen. The only issue with that case is there has to be proven damages. And in a case like this, it's going to be really hard to prove damages. I'm not a lawyer. I don't claim to be a lawyer. But it sounds like a hard case if they go that route. Now, if the FTC steps in and they say, you can't do this under, whatever regulations, we could see some big fines coming in from the FTC. I haven't heard of anything yet, but the possibility exists, and frankly, they probably should be fined.
But I want someone to lose their job, because somebody does need to lose their job.
I really believe that this sort of behavior should be punished. You can't just say, hey, don't do that again because there's public outcry. No. There's got to be some monetary damages here.
Because look, I spent 4 hours last Sunday removing some sort of nasty spyware that refuses to uninstall itself, and combo fix everything just gave me a hard time. I eventually got it, but it was still, and I chalked it up to Superfish. But my dad does have a ThinkPad. So
Right.
maybe it wasn't it, and I've been going through it, removing everything anyway. And then I ran
Yeah.
Windows Defender and everything else. But it's just spending an afternoon removing spyware is not a fun time, and knowing that it's pre-installed just makes everyone upset.
Right. And if if you're really concerned, and this is what I do anyway, if you buy a computer, don't run the manufacturer's operating system. If you want to be pretty tinfoil hatty about things, or even just enjoy your computer a little bit more, spend the money and get yourself a Windows disk. Like order it from Microsoft or Amazon. Everyone carries just straight up Windows. And when you get your computer, full wipe. Do a full wipe, reinstall it from scratch, or do what I do and run Linux on the thing if you're feeling brave. It just removes a lot of questions and a lot of bad crapware too.
So anyway, we're over time, so we're gonna end. But come back, ask your questions. We'll answer them next week.
See you guys.
Okay. Have a good day. Bye. Bye.